Have you ever felt just utterly drowned, like amidst this flood of AI tools?
Oh, yeah.
You're probably paying for, I don't know, 10 different subscriptions, but maybe actively using half.
Right. If that.
And every single week, it feels like there's some new game-changing tool.
Yeah.
Everyone insists you must try it.
The pressure's real.
And it leads you down one of two paths,
Yeah.
right? You either become this like AI tool hoarder,
Chuckle softly. Yeah. Got to catch them all.
or you just boycott everything. Just say, nope, too much.
And both ways, honestly, they cost you time, money, and you miss out on real opportunities.
Exactly.
So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to cut through that noise, navigate what we're calling the AI storm.
Okay.
Our mission, it's to give you a solid decision framework, a proven one.
Good. We need that.
Yeah. So you can filter out the hype, find tools that actually deliver value, and know, when to test, when it's worth buying, or maybe even when you should build something yourself.
Build it yourself.
We're going to walk through a 6-phase journey, from spotting genuine innovation all the way to figuring out if a tool is actually going to stick around. Let's jump in.
Okay, let's unpack this first bit. The AI tool ecosystem. It's genuinely overwhelming right now.
It really is. Thousands of apps.
Thousands, covering every category you can imagine.
Wow.
Design, AI browsers, coding assistants.
Everything.
And then there's this other layer, this AI tribalism thing.
Yeah. The Kansas.
People picking sides, fiercely defending ChatGPT over Claude, or this code editor versus that one.
They'll get pretty intense.
It creates these unnecessary ideological wars that honestly help nobody. And when we say AI tribalism, we just mean that really strong, sometimes kind of irrational loyalty to one specific model or tool. It just divides people.
Unhelpfully. And what's fascinating, I think, is that the real problem isn't which side you pick in those debates.
Right.
It's the lack of a good mental framework, a way to assess if you actually need that tool in your life, in your work.
Without that framework.
You just get swayed, right, by the big headlines, the articles throwing around breakthrough and game changers like confetti.
Happens all the time.
And you end up confused, probably overwhelmed, and definitely poorer from all those subscriptions.
Yeah.
So this framework, it's like your compass. It moves you from just reacting to whatever's hot this week to being an active, strategic chooser, picking what actually works for you.
Okay, so when we're trying to cut through all that noise, that feeling of being overwhelmed, why is having this framework really so crucial for us?
It helps you choose strategically. You avoid the hype, the overload, and the unnecessary costs.
Got it. Strategic choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so phase 1, this is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah, the initial filter.
The initial filter. Before you even spend 5 minutes signing up for a free trial, the question is, does this tool introduce any form of step change for the specific work I'm trying to do?
Key phrase there, step change.
And we're not talking about just, a tiny 5 or 10% improvement. It needs to be a real qualitative leap forward.
Exactly, a fundamental shift. And we've kind of broken this down into 4 types of step changes to look for.
Okay.
First one, new capabilities unlocked. These are tools that let you do things that were, basically impossible before, or needed super specialized skills.
Like what?
Okay, think about a small startup, maybe just one person, making a decent product intro video. Used to need a scriptwriter, an actor, camera person, editor, a whole team.
Right, expensive.
Totally. Now, tools like Synthesia or HeyGen. One person can create a video with an AI avatar speaking any language just from a text script. That's not just faster, it's democratizing video production.
Wow.
Or imagine an interior designer. Using generative AI like Midjourney, they can whip up dozens of different room concepts in minutes that used to take days of sketching or 3D modeling. It really levels the playing field.
That's a huge difference. It's not just productivity, it's access.
Access is a great word for it. Okay, second type, 10x improvements. These tools aren't just a little better, they are exponentially better. Think 10x cost savings, maybe in token efficiency, that's like how much processing power it uses, or just raw speed.
Okay, give me an example.
Imagine a data analytics team. Normally, they spend maybe a week processing, cleaning, visualizing a big data set.
Standard stuff.
Right. A new AI tool lets them just ask in plain English, like, show me sales trends for product X in Q3 by region, and bam, they get a full chart in minutes.
Oh, Imagine that kind of speed for complex data, getting insights in moments instead of days.
Exactly. That's the 10x. Or another example, these new language models. Some have huge context windows now. You can upload an entire book, maybe a whole code repository, and analyze it all at once. That's easily a 10x jump over having to chop everything up into tiny bits.
That's a massive change for research, for coding. But wait, with those huge context windows, does that bring new problems like more chance of the AI hallucinating or making stuff up? Or maybe people just dump everything in without thinking critically?
That's a really crucial point. And it highlights that even with these super powerful tools, human oversight,
Yeah.
still absolutely essential.
Right.
It empowers you, but it doesn't replace critical thinking. Okay, third type, category creation. These are the pioneers. Tools that carve out entirely new markets.
What?
Well, think about vibe coding. Before, say, 2024, that wasn't really a thing. The idea you could just type a description and get a working app in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it seemed like science fiction.
Right. Tools that first cracked that. They created a whole new profitable category. Or think about autonomous AI agents like AutoGPT. That created a new space for AI that can actually plan and execute complex tasks on its own.
Okay, new categories. What's the last one?
The fourth is paradigm shifts. These tools fundamentally change who can do certain tasks. They democratize skills, maybe even whole industries.
So like the vibe coding example again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a plumber, a welder, anyone without a coding background can build simple apps just by talking or typing. That's a total paradigm shift in who gets to create software.
That's powerful.
Or AI music generation. Platforms that let literally anyone create professional-sounding background tracks for videos without knowing a lick of music theory. Huge shift.
Okay. So, if a tool doesn't clearly fit into one of those 4 boxes,
Yeah?
new capabilities, 10x improvement, category creation, or paradigm shift,
Then it's probably just an incremental improvement. Nice to have, maybe, but probably not worth disrupting your whole workflow for.
that's your first filter. You're gonna go.
Precisely. If it's not a real leap, maybe just put it aside for now.
Okay, so let's say a tool does pass that step change filter. It feels like a real leap. Now we hit that classic question. Do I build it myself, or do I just buy the subscription?
The build versus buy dilemma.
Yep. And this assessment seems to boil down to 3 core questions. You mentioned secret sauce earlier. What makes a tool genuinely hard to copy? Then, can I actually build it?
Yeah.
And finally, could the big guys just swallow it whole?
Exactly. Let's tackle the first one. Can I build this myself? And, building today doesn't always mean writing thousands of lines of code from scratch. You've got these amazing automation tools like NEN or Make. Think of them like visual builders, drag and drop style, connecting different apps. They even have text to workflow features now.
So you can just describe the workflow.
Yeah. You can often sketch out a basic workflow in maybe an hour or two. You could even hook that up to a simple front end you vibe coded with natural language.
But is it ever that simple? I mean,
Well, okay, full disclosure, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, where the AI's output just kind of degrades or changes over time, even if you didn't change the prompt.
chuckles. Yeah, that's frustrating.
It really is. And it is tempting to build when you see something cool that works, but you absolutely have to consider the hidden costs of building.
Like what?
Well, the time, obviously, and the opportunity cost. What else could you be doing? Plus perfecting it, debugging, maintaining it.
And APIs change, right? Things break.
Constantly. Ongoing maintenance is huge. And then can your home-built solution actually scale if you need it to? Those costs add up fast.
Okay, so the hidden costs are real. Don't underestimate them.
Definitely not. Then the second question, do they have a secret sauce? This is all about competitive advantage, an economic moat, basically. Something that makes their product really hard for anyone else, including you, to replicate perfectly. We'll dig into what counts as sauce in a sec.
Okay, the moat. And the third question.
Can the big players replicate this? You gotta think. Could Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, one of the giants, could they just build this feature themselves? Especially the reputable companies, the ones are probably going to be around in a year.
That's a scary thought for a startup.
It is. Classic example. A couple years back, white-labeled custom GPTs felt revolutionary.
Right, everyone wanted one.
Now, you can practically vibe code that whole experience yourself, the front end, and maybe add payments, hook it to a back end, relatively easily.
Wow.
And worse, if that kind of tool gets popular enough, ChatGPT might just build it in as a native feature. Poof. This vendor risk is real. Big platform updates from OpenAI, Google, whoever, can literally make hundreds of startups obsolete overnight. Imagine your whole team relying on a tool and it just vanishes or gets kneecapped. That's a massive business risk.
This is a stark warning.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at a tool, we're asking, can I realistically build it, considering the hidden costs? Is there something truly unique, some secret sauce? And could a tech giant just crush it?
Exactly. Can you replicate it easily? Do they have a real secret sauce? And what's that big tech replication risk? Those are the key build versus buy questions.
All right, let's dive deep now into what really counts as secret sauce. That durable barrier, like you said, not just a slick interface. What makes a tool genuinely hard to copy? What are those maybe subtle signs you've learned to look for?
Yeah, good question. Because secret sauce isn't just one thing, it comes in several flavors. First up, complex workflow orchestration.
Okay, what's that mean?
Some companies are just exceptionally good at managing really intricate, sophisticated workflows behind the scenes. Think about Gamma, the AI presentation tool.
I've seen that.
You could theoretically try to build something similar yourself, connect APIs, but replicating how they handle element positioning, manage latency, choose design layouts, deal with fonts, all those details, it would take so much time to reverse engineer compared to just paying for it.
So it's the fine-tuning the edge cases.
Exactly. It's not just connecting A to B. It's optimizing for a million little things, anticipating errors, ensuring speed, making thousands of micro decisions. That kind of deep orchestration, that's a secret sauce that's almost impossible to copy quickly.
Okay, so that invisible complexity is one type of sauce.
Yeah.
What else?
Second, security infrastructure. If a tool handles sensitive tasks securely, that's huge. Building robust security yourself, especially if you need things like SOC2 or GDPR compliance for customer data,
Yeah.
that's a massive undertaking.
Yeah, saves huge amounts of time, cost, and headaches.
Totally. Peace of mind is part of the value. Third, and this is a really strong note, proprietary data.
Data they own that nobody else has.
Precisely. If a company has spent years collecting, cleaning, and refining a unique data set, models trained on that data have an inherent edge. You just can't replicate it if you don't have the ingredients.
Makes perfect sense. Like a chef with a secret, irreplaceable spice blend?
Exactly like that. Fourth, network effects. This is when a product gets more valuable the more people use it.
Like social media, kind of.
Yeah, or think of a collaborative AI design tool. It's way more useful if your whole team is on it, right? That naturally attracts more users, which makes it even more valuable, creating this positive feedback loop. That's a strong moat.
Okay, got it. Network effects. What's next?
Fifth, sometimes it's just elegant implementation. The product is just so smooth, so intuitive. Maybe it makes team sharing incredibly easy. It just works.
So good UX is a moat.
Exceptional UX, yeah. It's a moat because achieving that level of simplicity and usability requires deep user understanding and literally thousands of hours of refinement. It's harder than it looks.
True. Okay, one more.
Last one, and it's crucial, economies of scale. Does the company have access to, like, bulk discounts on using the big AI models?
Cheaper API calls.
Exactly. Big players negotiate much cheaper rates for using Claude, Gemini, GPT-4, whatever. They can pass those savings on to you, making their service way cheaper than if you tried to run the same number of queries yourself.
Okay.
Or, related to that, maybe they're acting as a loss leader. They might be willing to lose money on the AI costs, at least initially, just to get you hooked and build a big user base.
So they're subsidizing your usage.
Right. That scale gives them a huge financial advantage.
So quick gut check then.
Yeah.
If a tool has basically no real sauce, no complex workflows, no unique data, weak security, no network effects, clunky UX, and no obvious scale advantage.
That's a pretty strong signal to probably skip it. It's likely easily replaceable.
Okay, that brings us back to that question, can I build this myself? And into phase 4, which you call the vibe code test.
Yeah, this is about testing the realistic possibility of you replicating it.
So the question here is, if I used a vibe coded front end, could I replicate, say, 80% of this tool's core function using something like Supabase for the back end and maybe N8N or make for the workflow automation?
Exactly. Let's walk through a scenario. Say you find a new SaaS tool. Its whole job is generating social media posts from a blog post URL you give it.
Okay, simple enough concept.
Right. Could you replicate the core of that? Well, for the front end, maybe use Card that's a super simple one-page website builder or some basic framework. Just needs a box for the URL and a button.
Okay, doable.
For the back-end logic, a Supabase edge function, think of that as just a quick bit of code that runs super fast when the button's clicked, could trigger the process.
Trigger what exactly?
An N8N workflow. That workflow would One, grab the content from the blog post URL. Two, send that content to the ChatGPT or Claude API with a specific prompt like summarize this, then generate 3 Twitter posts, 1 LinkedIn post, 1 Facebook post. 3, get the results back from the AI. And 4, display them on your simple web page.
When you break it down like that?
If you can easily map out those basic steps, front end, back end, trigger, workflow logic, then yeah, maybe building it yourself is feasible. At least the core 80%.
But, and this is a big but, we keep coming back to, always remember the economics.
Crucial point.
Always. Like your example, if generating, say, 100,000 images yourself using an API directly would cost you maybe $50,000.
Yeah, easily. Inference costs add up.
But some platform offers that same capability for $24 a month because they have massive economies of scale, they've negotiated bulk rates.
The math is pretty clear there, isn't it? You buy.
Definitely buy.
So yeah, the decision point here is really, if a tool is too complex for you to realistically build and you don't get significant economies of scale advantages by doing it yourself, then it almost always makes more sense to just buy versus build.
Okay, so to quickly gauge if we could realistically DIY an AI tool, it's about mapping its key parts, front-end, back-end workflow, using those common, accessible automation tools.
Exactly. Can you easily map its front-end, back-end, and workflow using common automation tools? That's the vibe code test.
Got it. Okay, moving on to phase 5, the momentum test. This feels important. A great tool today could be totally useless tomorrow if the company behind it just stops.
Absolutely. Abandonware is a real risk. You need to assess the provider's vitality. Are they still moving forward? Are they alive?
How do we do that? What are the signals?
We look for key momentum signals. First off, shipping velocity. Pretty simple. Are they consistently releasing new features, fixing bugs, making improvements?
Where do you look for that?
Check their company blog, their Discord server if they have one, their official changelog. A green flag is seeing updates weekly or maybe bi-weekly. A clear public roadmap is also a great sign.
Okay.
Lovable, that AI tool, is a great case study here. Their consistent weekly shipping really put them on the map and built trust.
And the red flag.
Products that get built once, launched with a splash, and then crickets, silence, a blog that hasn't been updated in 6 months. That's a very bad sign.
Yeah, that's a clear indicator they're losing steam or maybe ran out of funding. You don't want to invest your time learning that tool.
Precisely. Signal number 2, free tier generosity. How much can you actually test for free before you have to pay?
How does that tell you about momentum?
Well, really generous free tiers, like maybe unlimited access to expensive models for a trial period, often indicate solid financial backing and confidence in their product.
They believe you'll see the value and convert.
Exactly. They're not afraid to let you kick the tires thoroughly. A red flag, on the other hand, is a super limited free tier. Maybe you only get 1 or 2 uses. That could suggest their operating costs are really high, or maybe they're just trying to force a quick purchase after maybe 1 or 2 good initial results that might not actually hold up in real-world use.
Okay, so a generous free tier is actually a sign of strength and confidence, not desperation. Interesting.
It often is, yeah. Third signal, platform play clarity. Does the tool seem to have a clear, coherent strategy, a vision for what it's trying to become?
What do you mean by platform play?
Like, take vibe coding tools. Their goal is pretty clear. Help people go from zero to a working app using prompts. Every new feature should kind of reinforce that core mission. That's a green flag, a clear vision.
And the red flag here?
Companies that seem to be constantly pivoting, chasing the latest trend, changing their identity every few months. That signals instability in their product roadmap. You don't want to build your workflow on a tool from a company that doesn't seem to know where it's going, lacks staying power.
Right. Unpredictable. Okay. What's the last momentum signal?
Finally, we have the Lindy effect. It's this idea that for non-perishable things like technology or ideas, their future life expectancy is proportional to their current age.
So the longer something's been around.
The more likely it is to keep being around. It survived trials, adapted. Think about businesses.
Yeah.
First-year companies have a super high failure rate, right? Maybe 90%.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Apply that same thinking to these AI tools. A tool that just launched 2 months ago carries a significantly higher risk of disappearing within the next year compared to one that's already been around, growing, adapting for 2 or 3 years. Age implies some resilience.
That's a really good historical lens to apply, even to brand new tech.
Yeah.
Okay, so stepping back from just the cool features, what are the key signals for a tool's long-term viability, that it won't just vanish next year?
Check for consistent updates, look at the generosity of their free tier, assess if they have a clear vision, and consider its age, the Lindy effect.
Got it. Now for our final phase, phase 6, the depth ladder. This is about specialists versus generalists.
Right. Is this tool trying to be a Swiss Army knife, or is it a specialized scalpel?
And you're saying the generalist tools, the Swiss Army knives, need more scrutiny because they can end up being a jack of all trades, master of none.
Exactly. Your analogy is perfect. A Swiss Army knife is handy for lots of little things, but if you need heart surgery, you want the specialized scalpel, right?
Yeah.
So we assess this by thinking about the level of usage. First, casual use. Think students, maybe content creators doing simple stuff. Office workers needing quick tasks, summarizing meeting notes, drafting emails, generating simple images.
Everyday AI tasks.
Right. For this level, the big, broad, all-in-one tools like the free versions of ChatGPT or Gemini are often totally sufficient. They're designed for that wide utility.
They handle the basics well? Okay, what's the next level?
Professional use. Now we're talking developers, marketers running campaigns, designers, data analysts doing serious work. Their needs are deeper. Building applications, automating complex marketing funnels, analyzing large, complex data sets.
Some more specialized needs.
Exactly. And for this level, you generally want to opt for well-funded, focused tools. Companies like Lovable, Bolt, Replit.
Yeah.
They have substantial backing, clear focus areas. You probably want to avoid betting your critical workflows on Tool X that looks cool but just launched 3 months ago and has, totally unknown survival odds.
Right, reliability matters more here.
And the top level, expert level. This is for AI researchers, machine learning engineers, cybersecurity specialists. Their needs are highly specialized. Fine-tuning models, auditing source code for subtle vulnerabilities, working to minimize hallucinations in really complex AI systems.
Very specific, deep work.
Extremely. For these folks, specialized tools are key. Like Cursor, which is designed specifically for developers doing AI-assisted coding. It focuses intensely on things like code review quality, security audits, generating correct, efficient code. The deep focus, funding, and active community around these tools give you confidence that the time you invest learning them won't be wasted because the tool disappears or pivots drastically.
So the core idea here is to bet on tools you genuinely believe will still exist in, say, 6 to 12 months, or at least have the funding and focus to adapt as the technology itself makes huge leaps. It's about durability and focus matching your needs.
Exactly. Match the depth of the tool to the depth of your need.
So when we're faced with all these options, how do we make that choice between a broad general AI tool and one that's super specialized?
Match the tool's depth and focus to your specific usage level.
Yeah.
Are you a casual, professional, or expert user for that particular task? Sponsor.
Okay, let's bring all 6 of those phases together now.
Yeah.
We've gone through the filters, the tests. Let's create an actionable decision matrix for everyone listening. This is the complete framework in action.
Right, let's summarize it. Here's when you should adopt a tool. This is when all of these things are true. First, true secret sauce exists. Real competitive advantages, not just a pretty wrapper on an API.
Okay.
Second, it has a scale advantage. You see those economies of scale, good shipping velocity, clear customer focus, basically. It passes that momentum test. Third, there's a depth match. The tool's capabilities actually match the level of depth you require for your work.
Casual, professional, or expert.
Right. And fourth, the economics favor you. It's significantly more cost-effective for you to use their service than to try and build and maintain it yourself. If all 4 are true, adopt.
All 4. Got it. When should we build instead?
Okay, you should build instead if. 1, it's actually pretty easy to replicate, and you need deep customization that the off-the-shelf tool doesn't offer. 2, if this function is absolutely core to your business operations, you don't want to rely on a third party for that.
Makes sense.
Control. 3, if the long-term cost of you building and maintaining it seems reasonable for the value it provides. And 4, if you want complete control and ownership over the data and the process itself.
Okay, build for customization, core function, reasonable cost, and control. And finally, when do we just ignore a tool? Hit the back button.
You ignore it if it's just another wrapper with no unique value add. If it has no real moat, no competitive advantage you can identify. If it has an unclear platform strategy or seems to be pivoting all the time.
Red flags from the momentum test.
Exactly. Also, if the free tier is super stingy without a good justification. And finally, if it's a brand new company with a high risk of disappearing, basically, if it fails the Lindy effect test hard. Too new, too risky.
That's incredibly clear. Adopt, build, or ignore. based on those criteria. And I want to just add a quick wrapper warning here because it ties right into this framework.
It's funny.
Be really careful with those big aggregator platforms like Future Tools or similar sites. You scroll through, and they're just endless lists of companies you've never heard of.
So many.
And a lot of them are just those quickly vibe-coded applications built on top of an API.
Yeah.
They look slick, but they have no moat, no sauce, and they will disappear.
Many of them will, yeah.
So in this landscape that changes so fast, being disciplined with this framework, it's more important than ever. It's about seeing past the packaging to the actual value.
That's a critical filter, absolutely. Discernment is key.
So boiling it all down, what's the ultimate takeaway? How do we make a confident decision on an AI tool?
Systematically apply the framework. Look for real value, look for sustainability, and make sure the economics make sense for you.
Okay, let's just quickly recap the big idea from today then. The explosion of AI tools. It presents amazing opportunities, but also some significant traps.
Both sides of the coin.
The goal isn't to become an AI tool hoarder, collecting digital dust. And it's definitely not to get bogged down in those tribal wars over which model is best.
Right.
It's about building your own personal AI ecosystem, one that efficiently and cost-effectively serve your specific needs.
Your needs. That's the focus.
So focus on tools that have real competitive advantages, that secret sauce. Look for clear signs of staying power, that momentum, and make sure the economics truly favor you over trying to DIY everything.
Well said. And maybe start applying this framework today before you click subscribe on that next email promising a game-changing tool.
Chuckles. Good advice.
Your time, your money, and honestly, your sanity will probably thank you for putting in that little bit of discipline up front.
Definitely.
And maybe a provocative thought to leave you with. In this landscape that's shifting under our feet constantly, how will you make sure that the AI toolkit you carefully build today remains an asset and doesn't become a liability, say, a year from now?
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into navigating the AI tool storm.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, Okira music.